life-threatening disease. Since then, he spent over 100 hours in the operating room, but you would never know it by his uplifting personality. Evan's motto is endurance leads to glory, and the Austin Elite team loved that so much, they decided to turn that in to their team culture. They now have that saying on every single player's jersey embroidered on the collar. So as Evan faces challenges every single day, other players are very motivated by him as the Austin Elite team looks to use that motivation today to get a home win here at Dell Diamond.
Nicely taken there. So going to be very important for Austin to get off to a good start in this one. Seattle, as good as they are, mentioned that back three, one of the best trios in the league. They're going to be looking to start quickly. Austin, it's been a tough season, obviously looking for their first victory. They do not want to get down early, certainly not at home.
So Seattle on a roll early, almost across the halfway line. Ben Sema gives it a little kitch, finds some space there in front of Soel Joda.
And Brian, I spoke with some of the Seattle coaching staff previous to this match. They said this week in practice they've been focusing on securing the ball on attack. They want to keep it, no knock-ons, and also getting quick ball out to the edge. They have the speed. They want to use it. Last week against Houston, they were, quite frankly, they were surprised by how physical the SaberCats were. Houston came out, really took it to them when, obviously, Seattle came away with the victory. They're not going to make that mistake this week against the fellow Lone Star State team.
So a bit of back and forth with the kicking game, and Soel Joda lays one down, and Ben Sema goes to the chase, fakes the quick throw, and then he'll go for a full line out for Seattle. So the first throw coming up for Dan Trierweiler, the Seattle-born
Keep back out.
wearing number 2.
Step across.
That 30-year-old began his career with Seattle Rugby Football Club, spent a year in Auckland, New Zealand with Hornsby U21.
Stay.
Danger zone for Seattle.
Hey, stop.
Pass from JP Smith back into their own in goal. Now it sets up for Penny Tangive. Little nudge through, a space finder for the Austin Elite. A great little kick, and that's going to put them in good position. A lot of pressure on Seattle in the first couple minutes of this game, and you can kind of see Kit playing a little bit of that territorial domination game.
That's exactly right, Brian, and this is exactly what Austin needs to do. Beautiful ball sent through there. JP Aguirre, the Argentine, newly signed. The man from Buenos Aires coming up, his first game here with Austin.
Intercepted, a try scored, and so Austin is the first to draw blood here in Austin at the Dell Diamond.
And wouldn't you know it, it came off a line out. We said those are going to be key for Austin. They are better in the line out. They had won more line outs this year than Seattle coming into this match. And the big hooker, the South African Tiana Rasmus, finds a gift and very happily goes across to dot it down, putting Austin on top 5-0.
Great start for the Austin Elite.
Cheers, mate.
Conversion to come. And finds the center of the upright. So the 2 points good, and a 7-point lead early in the first half for the home team. And we rarely get to say that about Austin here at the Dell Diamond. It's been a struggle, frankly, Kit. And how great would it be for this team and their confidence to go on the road for the second half of the season?
Oh, it would be absolutely huge. And just a misplay there. You see it on the line art, the number 8, Rigat Haile, the South African, to his countryman. That is not the way he wanted that one to go. But for Austin, a dream start indeed. Erasmus with the try, the conversion from Romero, the French scrum half. And for Austin, it has been a frustrating season. They've had opportunities. They played a good match on the road against Glendale last week, just came up a bit short. Austin, what they needed. Now we'll see what the response is from the Seawolves. Mentioned Seattle, as good as they've been at home, well, it's been a little bit of the opposite on the road. They haven't won on the road this year. 0-2 is Seattle in road matches.
Dropped a 4-point loss to San Diego on the road, and also a loss to NOLA by 10 points as well. Well, the throw-up is good for Seattle, so almost to the halfway line for the Seawolves. JP Smith digs one out. Looks to the forwards, instead goes to Seema. Seema, instead of kicking, goes for a little run himself. Now Smith. And the penalty, not rolling away from the tackled player against Austin, and they don't want to start racking up these penalties early, Kit.
That's exactly right, Brian. That's been an issue for Austin all year, an Achilles heel, if you will, that they have been, well, they've been penalized in terrible situations. They lost the opening match. They were up on Houston, their fellow Lone Star State foe, but off the boot of Sam Windsor, Houston was able to come away with the victory. A penalty at the last minute by Austin gave the SaberCats the win. And that's been a microcosm of this year for Austin, just ill-timed penalties, and their opponents have been able to take advantage.
So Trierweiler, quick throw in to Hadding, the target. Smith out to Seema. Big George Barton going to have a run. Bowls over one, gets back to his feet. Shell on the job. Smith digs it out. Out to Tucker. Metcher, a little bit of help at the ruck, and there's Smith. He wants to go quickly. Tiberio looking for the offload. Instead, lays it back. Smith is there again. Seattle pushing the pace. It's Smith out to Seema. Martin on the corner. Finds Riekert Hadding. Hadding drives forward about 20 meters out from the line. Knocked forward by Austin, so it's going to be the first scrum, and this is enticing, Kid. We talked about this earlier as one of those key elements of this game.
Yeah, big advantage in the scrum for Seattle. They've been fantastic in this aspect. Austin only 79% scrums won this season. That's one of the lowest marks in the league. Seattle knows they have an advantage in this facet of the game. As you take another look right here, big South African Hadding going forward and just, well, see the boot there of one of the new additions for Austin. A lot of new players on this elite side still trying to find their place. Our referee, the Aussie Logan Rogan, calls the scrum. You see Scott Green, the Kiwi, his assistant, along with Butch Neuenschwander, the crew for today's match.
Set.
So Smith finds the scrum. Stable platform there. Smith goes to Seema. Barton on a crash. Stoller comes in from the blind side wing, adds a little bit of help, maybe looking for a pass before contact.
Use it.
Tucker. Straight into the captain for Austin, Ben Mitchell. Now Crumrye. Oh, it's lost. Stolen well. That is Mo Abdelmonem.
Started from an offside position.
Abdelmonem, he was on the first 15 of MLR last week. The Egyptian-born, Canadian-raised flanker.
Look at this. Catching Seattle asleep, and a quick tap from inside their 22, and now they're across the halfway mark. Enterprising stuff from Mitch Romero.
Stay there.
Now the chip, clever one. Tanguive puts it off his foot. Oh, it almost hops up for Austin, but instead it's knocked forward. Those are the moments where you got to have the bounce of the ball. How great for Austin if that ball would have set itself up.
Austin looking fantastic there. Great build-up. Penny Tanguive, the left wing, the former Baylor University football star. You see him just puts boot to ball. Romero, oh, off the shoelaces, couldn't quite secure it, or he would have been in to double Austin's advantage.
All right, so another put in. This time 80 meters away from the last scrum, which happened about 20 seconds ago.
Crouch. Fine.
Absolutely torrid pace early in this one.
Smith feeds the scrum. Hadding
Balls
to
out.
dig it from the back instead. To the hand. Knocked forward a little bit. Looked by Mo Abdelmonem. Now Smith.
Advantage over.
Playing advantage from the knock on and then goes straight into touch there. So gobbles up a little territory and a little pressure relief for the Seattle Seawolves. It'll be a line out on the halfway line.
Yeah, so
both these teams looking good when they have a ball in hand. We mentioned possession a key for Seattle. They really want to starve Austin of possession. So far, that has not been the case. You've got to imagine it's 50-50 or maybe a little bit in favor of the home side early in this one.
So the try scorer, Tion Erasmus, with a throw, goes way up to Ben Mitchell, the target. Takes it to the ground. Romero directing traffic.
Roll.
Again, not rolling is called against Bradley Tucker.
You're right there on top of the ball. Roll.
Austin very happy to have the services of Juan Echeverria back, the tight head prop, the Uruguayan, off on national team duty for ARC, as was Rodrigo Silva.
Silva with a little nudge down to the 22-meter line.
There on top of the ball.
More territory for the Austin Elite. Looking good here in the first half.
Another line out. This is where they're at their best. Echeverria, quick word for Erasmus.
Larson now the target. Romero. Oh, the dish back inside from the short line out to the forward. Ben Mitchell runs past. Sowell Joda gobbled up by tackle by J.P. Smith. Now it's Erasmus. Echeverria getting a little action at the ruck time. And Shade.
Roll now, 13.
Chris Shade from Ohio takes a little run. Travis Larson. And now Shade again, very active.
Ball's there.
Looked like the ball was knocked forward, but nobody saw that. Tanguive instead takes a run. Larson out to Abdelmonen. And Mo gonna keep crawling forward. Nobody holds him. Romero out to Silva. Backs out wide. Larson takes it himself. Tries to run over a couple of Seawolf defenders. Now it's Romero. Silva. Oh, and a split by J.P. Aguirre, and he hands it to Joda. And the home team scores another try. Sowell Joda.
And the French Maracas, Sowell Joda, he will get the try, but that is a team try in every sense of the word. Great work from Austin going through the phases. Beautiful passing. Tanguive, a huge part of it, as was J.P. Aguirre, the Argentine inside center, already seeing the man with number 12 on his back, the Porteño Aguirre. Very impressive in this one. Joda comes up with the try. And for Austin fans wondering where this team has been all season long, just fantastic work on the front foot. Aguirre, a little off-road to Joda, able to go across.
And the conversion good as well from Romero. So 14 points, the lead. And Seattle scratching their head.
Scratching their head indeed. I think a lot of the league, Austin fans, as I mentioned, scratching their head. Where's this team been? What a start from Austin, attacking rugby, moving the ball quickly. Aguirre right into the waiting hands of Joda, easily in for the try.
I talked to Andrew Sunil, the former player for Austin and now manager, and he said Aguirre is one to watch. He's going to be really good. He played for the U20s for Argentina, played at Lindenwood, and they're happy to have him firm up the center pairing there with Sione Tonguia.
Yeah, very impressive young man. Played for Club Shagnat there in Buenos Aires, a Lindenwood product, standout player at the World Rugby Combine, held in Glendale last year.
So once again, well, Erasmus not held twice, but he knocks it on when he tries to lay it on the ground, pick it back up, perfectly legal, but you can't propel the ball forward towards the opponent's try line, and that's what happened there. So great work by Erasmus, rumbling down the field. No one wanted to stop him, and the only thing that could stop him is a slight infraction in the handling. So it'll be a scrum to Seattle.
This is where Austin needs to be careful in these situations. You don't want to give Seattle any opportunities. This is a very good Seawolf team, a reason they're the defending champion. Have to be careful with the penalties. Just be secure with the ball in hand. Keep playing the way you've started this match if you're Austin.
No.
A little bit of back and forth. You gotta love to see the scrum halves go back
We've had 2 good scrums,
and forth
fellas,
together. You know, a little bit of that kind of abrasiveness. You know, they like to eat each other's space there at scrum time. You know, it's just one of those just kind of gritty moments.
J.P. Smith, the former Blue Bull man, the South African, just saying hello to his opposite number, Romero.
Bind. Set.
Smith. Good go forward in the scrum there. Referee says play it. George Barton on the wraparound. Seema, a little bit of space out on the corner there. Tiberio and Stoller trying to work together. Normally the 15 jersey is Matt Turner's, but Tiberio can play any spot in that back three comfortably. Tucker, the wraparound. Again, Barton gonna go through a couple. Stands back up, gobbles up a few more. Nobody wants to stop George Barton. And again, a handling error and just maybe trying to do a little too much. Bradley Tucker shaking his head.
I think that was absolutely the case, but what a job there from George Barton, the big 21-year-old from Duncan, British Columbia, the Canadian former U20 man, one of the top Canadian prospects. So far, he's looking very good for the visitors in green. They've got to get the ball out to those danger men. Stoller, Tiberio, get the ball in their hands. Have yet to see Bert Coombs with the touch. He was round 7 MLR first 15 last week. An absolutely outstanding match in that victory over Houston.
And so far, Kit, you'd have to say Austin doing a pretty good job of keeping the ball away from Seattle. They're not kicking it away kind of mindlessly in phase play. They're keeping it. They're running it well. Great runs by Tion Erasmus so far. And it looks like they're going to intend throughout this game to keep the ball and make it useful.
It looks that'll be the case there. Forwards coach Pedri Vandenberg, former Springbuck, out there having a word with his guys. But I'm very impressed with Austin. This is a great start from them. He said last week, even though they lost to Glendale, did Coach Vandenberg, he said that was big for this team. It really showed them the style they wanted to play, that offensive flair, and we're seeing that. And I think Aguirre, the Argentine, is a large part of it.
All right, deep inside their own half. Mitch Romero going to feed the scrum, and Austin needs to get out of this danger zone. Oh, big scrum by Seattle, the push there, and they'll get the penalty, and that's the danger zone. You warned us about it, Kurt. Kit, and if Seattle starts to get the run of this scrum, it's going to be a long second half for Austin.
It will indeed, and that's one thing. If you can dominate in the scrum, well, that gives you a huge advantage and a mental advantage as well. If you guys up front, if you're being pushed back anytime it's a scrum, you see it right here. You see the push, the guys up front from Seattle. Gordon, Triweiler, Mitcher, just doing a great job. The big boys on that front row really imposing their will.
So they got the penalty, and this is a signal of the confidence of the scrum. They go back to the scrum for the penalty.
And trailing 14-0, no way they were going to kick in this situation. They want the full 5.
Ball's out, fellas.
Padding from the base. Good tackle by Romero, the scrum half. Now Deschel tries to run over Silva. Seema, cutout pass.
Is that not done, Scotty?
Trying to find Stoller on the corner. Instead, Seattle going backwards. Good defense by Austin. Smith digs it to Trierweiler. Now Seema looking for Metcher. Great tackle by Erasmus on the big man, Metcher from Maroubra in Australia. There's Rickert Hadding just over the 22-meter line. Deschel trying to run over a couple. And he'll lay it back.
Come on,
Cut out pass to Bradley Tucker.
No 7.
Let's go!
Smith, quick ball. Finds Tiberio. Now Seema.
1-1.
Etcher. Big cutout pass. There's Bert Combs. Driving for the line. Puts it over.
Time off.
And a decision coming, Kit.
Indeed, what a run there from Sequoia Bert Combs, the Dexter, Michigan native, just absolutely showing his power and his pace, a rare combination. Here it is one more time, great ball out.
How about the cutout pass by Tim Metcher?
About to say Metcher, the tight head prop with a beautiful pass, something you don't expect coming from the number 3.
When your tight head prop is throwing bullets out there, you're in good shape.
Bert Combs,
Sorry, fellas, contact.
last
Take
week,
the water break now, too, Greg,
outstanding.
if you want to.
Referee says the word
Yeah, let's
contact.
do a
Now
20-minute
normally
water break. Water break, fellas.
when the referee's talking about
Let's have the
contact,
water break.
he's going to be talking about tackling. Bert Combs with a contact lens out. We're going to take a break here at the Dell Diamond. We'll be back for more rugby in just a moment.
I wished I could tell my daughter to go play outside, but every time she coughed or wheezed or suffered, it scared me. And weekly allergy shots were just as scary, scarier for her.
I used to start my day ready to take on the world, but every change in temperature or rain or wind triggered something in my head. Itchy, watery eyes, headaches. I was miserable, no matter what the season. I couldn't breathe. It was like having a cold all the time.
And even if she was okay with weekly allergy shots, who has the time? Between school, work, and family, no one has time to go to the doctor every single week.
A buddy of mine said I had to go to Texan Allergy.
Then we went to Texan Allergy. Drops from Texan Allergy are so easy, so simple, and best of all, they work. Allergy relief that doesn't affect our schedule.
Who could imagine something as simple as drops could change my day-to-day happiness? Texan Allergy put the quality back in my quality time.
Texan Allergy, changing lives one drop at a time.
14-0 the score here in Round Rock. Austin leading Seattle. Well, down on the field, Austin Ivan. Austin, what do you got for us?
Time back on.
Although the Major League Rugby season is not even halfway over, tonight is Austin Elite's last home game of the season here at Dell Diamond. It's a combination of two reasons. One, just the unique scheduling where all their home games are at the beginning of the year, and they will now be doing a lot of traveling the next couple months. But two, there was supposed to be another home game on March 30th against Rugby United New York, but Austin Elite has decided to move that game to San Antonio. The city of San Antonio has never hosted a Major League Rugby game, and Austin Elite thought it'd be the perfect opportunity to expand their fan base down to South Texas. The game will be played at Toyota Stadium at 1 p.m. Brian, you said it was a quick start today for Austin Elite as they look to get their first and last home win here at Dell Diamond.
Indeed, thank you, Austin. Well, sharing the love across Texas.
Trying to spread the gospel of rugby down there to Bexar County, San Antonio. A beautiful facility at Toyota Stadium, home of SAFC and the USL Championship, second division of professional soccer here in the States.
Let's go, Benno.
Well, this would be a huge goal line stand here for the Austin Elite. JP Smith feeds the Seattle scrum. Seattle scrum looking dominant so far. Big push coming from Seattle. And the pickup from the back. Hadding has a lot of space in front of him. He'll go over and score a try. Rickard Hadding for Seattle.
Hadding doing a great job just keeping close to the edge of that scrum. Got it. And there was no doubt about where he was headed. No thought of the offload. Take another look right here. Hadding takes it himself and just a brilliant job. Head up, saw where Austin was, pressed out defensively, saw a lane, and able to go across to dot it down. And that's big for Seattle, able to find their first try of the match.
It looked like Mo Abdelmonen just a little bit slow off of the side of that scrum, wearing that number 7. He's really the only line of defense there that could have stopped Rickard Hadding, and Hadding carried him in.
Yeah, that's a mismatch there. Abdelmonen, as good as he is, just unable to take down the number 8 for Seattle in a one-on-one situation.
So Stoller with the 2-pointer to come, and he's got a cannon for a foot. Easy 2 for Brock Stoller.
And no trouble there on the conversion from the Canadian national team, man. Stoller Hadding with the first try. Austin sees their lead cut in half. A great start for Austin. You knew there would be a response from Seattle as you take another look at the try. Hadding,
classic.
Great job there. Knew exactly where he wanted to go and able to get right past Faison Donahoe, also trying to assist on the tackle, but Hadding only eyes for the try line.
Stoller takes the kickoff, lays it back. Seattle trying to run. DeShell goes through a would-be Abdelmonen tackle.
Inside, inside.
Smith,
Inside.
Larson breathing down his neck, and Seema pumps it into touch. So it'll be a line out for Austin. 14-7 the score, halfway done in the first half. And the home side looking for its first victory of the year.
And their final home game, hard to imagine that's the case, but you heard Austin said, well, the teams in the South playing a lot of home games early in the season. You understand why. Toronto, their first 8 games of the year, all on the road. Rugby New York playing their first 6 on the road, and well, that's just out of necessity. Hard to play when you've got a foot of snow on the pitch.
That's our shoulder, fellas. Scrum. Scrum.
All right, so line out not straight.
And you hear our referee there, Logan Rogan, asking if he wanted to scrum. That was never going to be a question for Seattle. You know exactly what they were going to say, and their response was going to be.
It's like asking my son if he wants ice cream.
The only question is which flavor.
Right? All right, JP Smith looks at a formidable pack in front of him.
Crouch.
You get the feeling momentum starting to shift a bit. Austin had it early, and the try for Seattle, maybe putting it in their side.
Blindside wide open here, and Tanguy not even guarding it, but they go open instead. It's because Stallers coming off the blind side.
Turnover's good, he beat the rough.
Turnover, great job by Abdelmonen. And then another turnover, Metcher grabs it off the ground from Mo. Smith, behind Crumry to Tucker. Here comes Big George Barton. Shock of red hair running straight at you.
Holding on.
Holding on to the ball after the tackle. Seattle guilty of the infringement, so Austin nearly halfway down the field, and they're going to have a pretty good circumstance here. It looks like it's Silva. He'll look towards the touchline and try to get Austin closer to the Seattle line.
Rodrigo Silva, the Uruguayan national team man, sends that one out. Beautifully placed by Silva.
You know, we mentioned
Line is yours, Blue.
earlier, Kit, when we were talking about the kind of United Nations version of this Austin team, and you got Uruguayans and Argentinians, Chileans, American-born players, South Africans, and it seems to finally be clicking.
Well, it's taken a long time, and when you consider that communication is an issue, and we've spoken to the coaches about that, maybe they're all finally starting to get on the same page.
Oh, Tagive out in the corner from Soel Joda. Runs out of room.
It's going into touch first.
Well-worked move there. Good handling from the Austin Elite, but they just run into touch, and kind of unforgivable on the corner there from Tanguy.
That's exactly right. You see it again there. Silva out to Aguirre. Aguirre, Fangawea out to Jodad, and then Tanguy just ran himself out of angle. Back to the previous point, though, Brian. 6 different primary languages just in the starting 15. You have 8 different primary languages on the entire roster. When you consider your coach is French and you're trying to translate that into Spanish, Afrikaans, English, and a host of other languages.
Yeah. Have you seen where the players landed?
Well,
Let's come in.
They seem to be speaking the universal language now, and by that I mean rugby, of course. So Seema going to get the benefit of a penalty against Austin.
To tackle 2, he's lifting past the horizontal. I'm going yellow card for landing on the
referee Rogan conferring with his assistant Butch Neuenschwander.
Anything, Scotty?
Yeah, so it sounds like a lifting.
2 and Ben.
Seema, one of those guys who speaks multiple languages. The Buenos Aires born, Washington D.C. raised.
So Rasmus, Kit, sorry to interrupt you there, but it looked like the referee, the conversation on the touchline was about lifting in the tackle and going past the horizontal. Kind of one of those no leniency moments. And so Erasmus going to serve 10 minutes in the bin, and that's huge. Austin off to a good start, and now really kind of stepped on their own foot.
Yeah, they certainly did. A huge break for Seattle's Austin's hooker, Tiana Rasmus, the man who came up with the first try of this match, heads to the sin bin for 10 minutes. Austin will be playing a man down. You can be sure Seattle will be looking to take advantage, trailing by just 7.
Let's go. We got a hooker. Time off, guys.
So now the shuffle continues. You can't have
off, Greg.
a front row that's not complete. So in comes number 18 for Austin. That's Brendan Rams.
Left of the mark for me, stability.
Rams, the South African-born former Austin Black, a man well known here in the capital city. He'll take over as the hooker with Erasmus in the bin.
Well, if it wasn't already difficult enough for Austin with 8 players against the Seattle scrum, now they got to go with 7.
And also bringing off Ricka Swat. Flanker comes off in the shuffling.
You must stay straight. You just got to stay straight. Elbow up and out.
Well, the sub there, Brendan Rams. I talked to him before the game. He was so excited. Grew up in Pretoria and played rugby with Riekert Hatting. Said he was Riekert's captain back on a team called the Eagles in Pretoria, and so excited to run against his former friend. Well, still his friend, but former teammate.
As you well know, Brian, rugby a very small world.
Good steal by Barton, but he's done it illegally. And so, well, I'll tell you what, it's Austin now with a penalty. They're going to point to the sticks, and this could be 3 points. They'll gobble a little time off the clock, so some of that 10-minute sin bin is going to run off, and they're probably going to get some points as a result as well. This is a pretty good outcome.
Oh, absolutely.
For Austin Elite.
Austin with a man in the bin. That's exactly what you would expect. Have a numerical disadvantage, go for post, see if you can extend your lead, and as you so correctly said, take important time off the clock as well.
So Romero. And it's good. 3 points for Austin. So now a 10-point game, 17-7. The score here in Round Rock.
Romero, the French scrum half, perfect in kicking, 2 for 2 in conversions, and now with the penalty goal as well, Austin extends their lead to 10.
Kick from Sema. Going back to take it is Larson.
Play it! Step back 3.
Oh, Tiberio gives up another gift, a knock on. Should have been an easy catch. Just a lack of concentration there. Only takes a half a second. But that is going to keep Austin in it when Seattle needs to be clinical with a man up here.
When's the last time you saw something like that from the former University of Arizona Wildcat? Always sure-handed. Former College Sevens Player of the Year back in 2012, and a rare miscue gives Austin a gift.
So Echeverria, Shade, and Tato, Brendan Rams across the front for Austin. You can see on the side, the winger, Alex facing Donahoe in a makeshift flanker position.
And you see the result of the makeshift scrum for Austin, already an advantage for Seattle in that phase of the game, and Austin just no match in that situation.
Looked like it was available on the side there, but a tough pickup because the scrum was going backwards and wheeling at the same time, Kit.
It was not forward at the back.
So a knock on, and this is exactly what Seattle wants right now. We'll see if they can capitalize. One-man advantage and a scrum.
Let's go, brother.
Austin right now just about taking time off the clock. They would love to get out of this half with a double-digit advantage. Seattle, we know they can strike quickly. They certainly have the arsenal players to do so.
Stay straight, yeah?
Stay right there. Very good. Push. Oh, no, Alex. Let's go, boys. Let's go, boys. Let's go. But I see
Still interesting for me to see nobody on the blind side in defense and that option wide open, and you just wonder when Seattle is going to go that route.
Stay 7.
Will Rasaleka puts his shoulder down, runs over an Austin Elite defender.
I haven't seen a lot from the Fijian captain, Big Willie Rasaleka.
And that man's had a share of ball tonight. George Barton out to Deschel. Smith, now he goes blindside. Big pass and knocked on by Tanguive.
Because you passed it straight into him, and he hasn't tried to
So
hit the ball
not
down.
an intentional knock on, so just a scrum, not a penalty. And the description from the referee there.
Yeah, you heard exactly what he said. Tanguive not anticipating that pass at all. He just passed it right into him, and you get another look here. Yeah, right there. I don't know. Tanguive looked like he may have been trying to intercept that one on the second glance.
Tanguive was surprised that ball was thrown to him.
Tanguive happy to be back here in Central Texas. I've had the opportunity to speak with him a few times this season. Played his collegiate football just up the road in Waco at Baylor University. There's a lot of good friends, good memories here in the Lone Star State. Happy to be back and playing professional rugby.
Set.
So Smith, halfway line. Seattle with the ball. Down by 10. Rasaleka over the top to Bert Coombs. Coombs puts his shoulder, tries to run over the diminutive Soel Joda, but Joda does nice. Wrap around there, Rasaleka inside Deschel. Deschel looking for help.
Playing advantage, high tackle.
High tackle there. You see the seat belt going up and around the neck of Deschel. That's going to be on Tanguive.
Penalty.
Number 11 tackles down around the neck.
And this is where Seattle's at their best, moving quickly, getting it through the phases, passes to hands on target, showing off the speed they have, moving the ball across the pitch and really putting pressure on the defense of Austin.
So the line out here for Seattle. They're 5 meters out. And you see the arm goes up and over the neck of Eric Deschel.
In and set, Rickard.
That's going to get the penalty every time.
Easy call there from the official.
All right, so the throw is good from Trierweiler.
Yeah, I know.
Metcher
driving maul
in there for a truffle.
It's one.
Finds the ball. Oh no, it's going to be Trierweiler. Trierweiler finds a little space. Austin sleeping, can't find the ball, can't find Daniel Trierweiler. And a try for the Seattle native.
And Brian, if I would have told you previous to this match that we would see 2 tries in the first half, both from front rowers, one from either side, I don't know if you would have believed it, but we've seen that. We saw one from Erasmus and now one from Trierweiler as well. The big man going through, Tanguive unable to hold him back. The Seattle native cuts the Austin lead.
Yeah, they just got to stick to this side.
Such a great history and tradition of rugby up there in the Pacific Northwest. You look north of the border, all the players coming from Vancouver, Victoria, then all the Evergreen State products as well.
Players like this man, Brock Stoller from Vancouver, went to the University of British Columbia. 15 caps for the 6'2", 210-pounder. Plays some center too, is one of those players for Richie Walker that can slot into a number of backline positions. Looked like a little 9-iron there over the crossbar, and a 2-pointer good for Seattle. So now it's a 3-point game. And the danger from that yellow card and the one-man advantage for Seattle, and it pays off.
How big is that penalty goal that Romero was able to slot through for Austin while they were man down with Erasmus in the bin? That's all that's keeping Austin ahead right now. But Seattle doing what we all knew they would do, battling back, a battle-tested side.
Hadding under the high ball, brings it down, lays it back.
No, it's not.
To Seema. Seema finds a little bit of territory, but doesn't find touch. Soel Jodat.
Keep coming out, boys! Come out!
Put the big up and under. And JP
No.
Smith
Let him go,
goes
15.
up, brings it down for Seattle.
Keep going.
Hadding playing scrum half. Biggest scrum half you've ever seen. Austin on the job, and they're trying to turn the ball over, and Seattle just gets it back in the hands of Kellen Gordon. Smith.
Through the middle, play on.
Ben Mitchell goes through the middle, grabs Smith, turns him. Not before the ball goes back, though, to Seema. Barton. Through Tiberio's hands. Faison Donahoe tries to chip it forward, but it's in the hands of Tiberio once again. Smith. Seattle in a little bit of trouble down deep in their own half. Metcher going to have a run.
Roll. No.
This time,
Inside.
Larson's
No.
tried to get
Inside.
a little bit
Five.
too far into that ruck. And now Loudon Shermer mixing it up.
Seven.
Some hurt feelings out there, kid.
Yeah, Kershade Wincherweiler away is JP Smith, the South African. He's made his feelings known early and often in this one. A big scrum half for the Seawolves.
Let me deal with it. Yep.
Referee putting his foot down, says basically I can control this match, boys. Let's settle down.
Oh, we got to fight. Come on. What we got going here?
Classic jersey holding confrontation. So Seema,
Right, time back on.
waiting for instructions, and there they are.
In the side.
In from the side, says the referee. Seema going to kick Seattle out of danger. They'll have the line out just across the halfway line.
Just ask me. Yep. Take a step. Take a
Final
step.
few minutes of this half, Seattle looking to find something before the halftime whistle. Maybe even take the lead. They have not led in this match.
Backward.
He got it. He got it. He got it.
Looked like
First one by Green is backwards. Second one's
backwards
gone
shot,
forward
and
off
then a
9.
little bit of a nudge
Scrum.
forward by Romero. So Seattle going to have a put in here. This is another dangerous area for Austin. You want to get into that locker room with the 3-point advantage, but a couple minutes left in this first half, and Seattle looking dangerous at scrum time.
Rickard.
It's a kind of a reorganized back line for this Seattle team, and so you wonder if they can pull off a first phase move.
Got to stop before you go up. Yep.
And you've seen that for Seattle, generally so good, so smooth, but they've had a few issues with that reorganized back line tonight.
Good look at the captain, Ben Mitchell.
What a job he has done this year for Austin. He has been the stalwart. Whatever they've needed, he has been there each and every match this season.
It's not your ball. 9 knocked it on when you went to go and grab it. It's come off your fingertips. Yep. Backwards off Green first, and then 9's gone to get the ball. It's come forward.
A little bit of attention being paid to the hand of Tiana Rasmus.
Okay, time back on. Mark's just here, fellas.
Tight one here in Round Rock at the Dell Diamond. Austin looking for its first win of the season, first win in its last home match. JP Smith
Crouch.
will feed the scrum for Seattle. Just 90 seconds left in this first half.
Yeah, we've gone in.
Logan going to reset.
Yeah, we've seen it all here in the first half. The only thing missing, no Suniula's on the pitch. Last year, this was the Suniula Bowl.
Well, there is one active Suniula tonight.
Remember stability, fellas.
Roland back from his little bit of a back injury, but available. Suniula's got in early from Seattle. Baby Julian is the newest Suniula, and that is Andrew's newborn son, and they all gathered around the family table last night. A gaggle of Suniulas. So JP Smith finds a little bit of room to run. Hadding plays the big scrum half. Now the clear out. But ball stolen by Erasmus illegally, says the referee. So what do? If you're Seattle, you're going to go for points here, Kit? You're going to kick it into the corner.
I think you bring the tee out in this situation, getting near the end of the first half, go in. That would be huge if you're able to tie things up after going down 14-0. You take another look here, and Austin,
ball out,
Brian, we mentioned it. They could not do themselves any disfavors. They were unable to commit these penalties and give Seattle chances. That's exactly what they've done here, and out indeed comes the tee.
The tee coming in from one of the aforementioned Suniulas. That is Shalom. He's gone from the captain of the team to the fastest tee bringer on the field. And there is Stoller going to try to get 3 points to tie things up. No time left in the first half. Boom. 3 points. Tie game.
Stoller, perfect 3 for 3, 2 conversions and a penalty goal. He ties it up 17-0. Austin got up early, 14-0. Seattle storms back to tie it at the break.
Well, down on the field, Austin, Ivan looking for a coach. Looks like she's going to find a Suniula. Austin, tell us what you got.
Coach, how important were those 3 points to tie the game up?
Yeah, it gave us good momentum going into the second half. A lot to work up in the first half, but it'll be an exciting second half.
Austin with the quick start with 2 quick tries. How will your defense have to adjust in the second half?
They definitely have to adjust. We just got to get off our line a little bit more and get our spacing right. And I think the boys will come home with it in the second half. But for the most part, Austin's playing well as well.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks, Austin. Well, we will be back for halftime. All tied up here in Round Rock.
US Cryotherapy offers cutting-edge electrically cooled cryotherapy, which has been clinically proven to reduce pain and inflammation, boost endorphins, and speed up athletic recovery. Our athletes recover faster, train harder, and perform better on the pitch. That's why Austin Elite only chooses the best and recovers with us. Mention Austin Elite Rugby for 10% off all services and memberships. Keep Austin chill. US Cryotherapy offers cutting-edge electrically cooled cryotherapy, which has been clinically proven to reduce pain and inflammation, boost endorphins, and speed up athletic recovery. Our athletes recover faster, train harder, and perform better on the pitch. That's why Austin Elite only chooses the best and recovers with us. Mention Austin Elite Rugby for 10% off all services and memberships. Keep Austin chill.
Tonight's game brought to you by Sought and Found Mercantile. Create a space you love. Dynamic Sports, leaders in sports medicine. And Eden Park, partners in elegance of Austin Elite Rugby. Halftime here at Dell Diamond, tied at 17-all between the visiting Seattle Seawolves and your Austin Elite. Glad to have you with us up in the booth, joined by Austin Elite fullback Zinzan Ellen Puttick. Zinni, nice to see you. First and foremost, how are you feeling? How's the recovery coming?
That's coming along. Thank you for having me on the show. Yeah, I got a slight sprain on the ankle, been hard at work trying to get the rehab done and a little bit of cardio here and there, but hopefully I'll be back soon.
Austin fans, they have not seen you anywhere except on the pitch. Since you've shown up, you've been on the pitch pretty much every game you've been here. You were raised in South Africa. You moved to Dalhart, Texas at the age of 16. For those of you who don't know, that's up in the Panhandle near Amarillo. How was that transition from South Africa to Dalhart?
So fortunately, I grew up in a small town in Makgagong, South Africa. So moving to Dalhart, Texas wasn't the biggest shock in the world. I guess the biggest shock was there was not a lot of rugby in the area. So, but yeah, I enjoyed football for a few years, but had to go back to rugby. Missed it way too much.
You played American football in high school. You played collegiately at West Texas A&M, and then you transferred to Arkansas State, the Red Wolves, where you got back to the oval ball. I know you're very happy to be back on that side of things. Second year of Major League Rugby, second year of the Austin Elite. For you, what are the biggest changes from year one to year two?
Well, I think we're one of the squads that we have a brand new look the second year. We brought a lot of guys in from obviously South America, a few guys in from South Africa, France as well. So I think that's always a little bit of a culture shock as a team to try and get the kinks out, trying to work together as a team. So I think for us as a team, we're building week in and week out, and I think that's important. We've noticed that from every team as well. The level of competition from year one to year two has been immense. So you kind of have to build every week. If you fall back 1 week, then you're just that much further from the top leaders at the moment. So hopefully just keep building. I know obviously we've had a slow start to the season, but every week we show up on Monday ready to work, and for me that's good to see positive attitude from the guys.
Yeah, I've heard that. I spoke with Pedri Vandenberg earlier, your forwards coach, and he said that obviously it's been tough. The results haven't been there, but that loss to Glendale, something clicked. Would you agree with that was kind of hopefully the start of something for your side?
No, definitely. Obviously, we started the season with a great defensive structure, and I think the last few games we've actually lost a bit of sight of that, and we've started to focus a little bit more on our attack. So like you said there, we started moving the ball a little bit better here and there, but at the end of the day, it's you got to bring everything together, whether it be on attack and defensively. So when you bring both sides to the table, hopefully we can get those results where we've been kind of in the short end of the stick for losing some games. So hopefully we can turn that around, yeah. And so far, great first 40 minutes in this game. Hopefully we can turn around in the next 40 and continue to build on that.
Austin getting out to a 14-0 lead early on, and then Seattle coming back tied at 17 at the break. Your analysis of the first 40 minutes of this match, what have you seen?
Well, I think the first 20 minutes we were really dominant. I think it's important if you can dictate at what speed the game is going to be played at, and I think we did that in the first 20. Let it slip there in the last 20 in a little bit. So hopefully the guys can regroup, refocus, and hopefully dictate the rest of the second half. If we can do that, I think we can hopefully walk away with a win. I think in the beginning we tactically were a little bit more sound than Seattle, and then they turned around in that next 20. So hopefully the guys can just switch on for the rest of the 40.
Zenny, we appreciate it. Best of luck in your rehab. Hope to see you out back on the pitch soon. Halftime, tied at 17-all here at Dell Diamond between Austin and Seattle.
Looking for a push on the try right there, next corner. Absolutely brilliant. It's popped up the captain.
I wished I could tell my daughter to go play outside, but every time she coughed or wheezed or suffered, it scared me. And weekly allergy shots were just as scary, scarier for her.
I used to start my day ready to take on the world, but every change in temperature or rain or wind triggered something in my head. Itchy, watery eyes, headaches. I was miserable, no matter what the season. I couldn't breathe. It was like having a cold all the time.
And even if she was okay with weekly allergy shots, who has the time? Between school, work, and family, no one has time to go to the doctor every single week.
A buddy of mine said I had to go to Texan Allergy.
Then we went to Texan Allergy. Drops from Texan Allergy are so easy, so simple. And best of all, they work. Allergy relief that doesn't affect our schedule.
Who could imagine something as simple as drops could change my day-to-day happiness? Texan Allergy put the quality back in my quality time.
Texan Allergy, changing lives one drop at a time.
Welcome you back. Halftime here at Dell Diamond, round 8, the 2019 Major League Rugby season, and tied at 17-all between Seattle and Austin. Glad to have you with us up in the booth. I'm Kit McConico alongside Dustin Zare. Dustin, good to see you. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
One of the founders of the supporters group of Austin Elite Rugby. And first and foremost, tell me how this group came to be.
Yeah, I think we started off at the beginning of the year. Obviously, a lot of us came out last year, supported the club as much as we possibly could, and then a couple days before the first match, I got hooked up with about 2 or 3 other people. We said, hey, let's just create a club. Started on Facebook, as a lot of clubs do, and now we've grown to about 326 people around the world. People in France and Ireland, down in South America, through all over the place, to South Africa as well. So continuing to grow, but things are good.
Austin Elite Rugby represented across the globe in all hemispheres, and not just a supporters group, but you were telling me it's expanded on your end as well. Now a podcast of which you're the host.
Yeah, this is something I've never done before, and I said my goal with the podcast and with the group is to continue to expand the game of rugby here in Central Texas, continue to expand people's recognition of the game, and to continue to tell people about, hey, who are these guys on the team? And for me, I started a podcast, spend about a couple minutes talking about rugby basics, what's a scrum, what's a line out. Interviewed some of the lads, interviewed Zinzan, which was great. Interviewed some guys last week, and we'll continue to do this throughout the regular season. In the postseason, we'll talk about some other stuff, maybe about some World Cup and things like that. But it works pretty well. Get quite a few downloads actually now, so that's good for me, I guess.
Indeed, a former player yourself. You played the game for 13 years before moving over to one of the heads, the founders of the supporters group, and obviously the host of the podcast. Texas known for football, American football, as it is the Lone Star State, but rugby has really got a foothold here of recent, and what have you seen to that?
Yeah, I think, obviously Austin in particular has a long tradition with Huns and the Blacks, and, really everybody in Central Texas, they know a lot about rugby, and I think that that's a great thing. But obviously, Austin is a very rapidly growing city, and so to that fact, there are more and more people coming here who have no idea what rugby is. And so my goal is to continue to promote the sport that I loved to play many years ago. But now, as a fan, I can sit down and watch, and I can, have my own opinion on certain things. But I think it's great that the sport is growing the way it is, and Major League Rugby in the second season, I look forward to the third, fourth, fifth, and 10th season become like for Major League Rugby. It's a very exciting time.
Absolutely. Dustin, finally, how can our viewers find more information? How can they find your podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. So really just go on to any of the places you look for your podcast, whether it be iTunes or Spotify. Just search for the Austin Elite Rugby Supporters Podcast. If you want to find us on Facebook, same name, Austin Elite Supporters Group. We welcome everybody from around the world. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to see where you're watching games from, listening from, et cetera, et cetera. Look forward to hearing more from people.
Yeah, great stuff there. Dustin Zare, the host of the Austin Elite Supporters Podcast, one of the founders of the Supporters Club. Dustin, thanks a lot for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
US Cryotherapy offers cutting-edge electrically cooled cryotherapy, which has been clinically proven to reduce pain and inflammation, boost endorphins, and speed up athletic recovery. Our athletes recover faster, train harder, and perform better on the pitch. That's why Austin Elite only chooses the best and recovers with us. Mention Austin Elite Rugby for 10% off all services and memberships. Keep Austin chill. US Cryotherapy offers cutting-edge electrically cooled cryotherapy, which has been clinically proven to reduce pain and inflammation, boost endorphins, and speed up athletic recovery. Our athletes recover faster, train harder, and perform better on the pitch. That's why Austin Elite only chooses the best and recovers with us. Mention Austin Elite Rugby for 10% off all services and memberships. Keep Austin chill.
Season 2 of Major League Rugby is up and running. 9 teams from across the U.S. and Canada battle it out every week for the right to hoist the MLR Shield.
What for the line? Look at this guy coming over!
The crowd has gone wild. The intensity, the drama, the buzz. You've got to love it. This is Rugby America. Get involved, get behind it. It's here to stay.
Tonight's match brought to you by Virginia Mason. Virginia Mason Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, exclusive medical provider of Seattle Seawolves. Discover more at virginiamason.org/ortho. Virginia Mason, be remarkable. And by BECU. BECU is a proud supporter of Seattle Seawolves, the 2018 Major League Rugby champions. BECU, you own it. Ivar, Seafood, Seawolves. It's the perfect match. Ivar's restaurant has been serving up award-winning seafood since 1938. Stop by Ivar's for Seattle's original seafood. All right, straight into it. Second half action. Ben Sema with the ball and the kick. Austin to receive. 17-17 locked up here after 40 minutes of play.
I'll move.
Brian, you heard it in my halftime interview there of Zinzan Alan Putzig. Austin, they were on the front foot. They dominated the first 20 minutes, as he so correctly said. And then Seattle, the better side in the second. Who will be the best side here in this second half?
Charge down kick from the box kick there. And then Ben Mitchell scoots through and adds a little bit of distance to it. So net result is okay.
Take a step.
A little bit of worry there from the first kick by Austin.
And you've got to think Seattle has the advantage, momentum on their side, going down early, able to battle back, and that penalty goal able to tie it up from Stoller there at the 40th minute.
Sione Fongawea comes up and looks a little slow to get up after hitting George Barton. Brick wall. Shermer tries to go to Metcher. Metcher knocks it forward. Advantage being played here. Faison Donahoe gives it a boot. Bounces just out of play, and so it'll come back to where the ball was kicked from. I think Austin a little bit upset about the advantage being played quickly. They certainly didn't get any advantage from that kick from Faison Donahoe. So
you good enough?
If I'm not mistaken, a substitution made there. Trueweiler giving way there. The number 2 shirt, Seven Kutsi, comes in. The 26-year-old South African, a veteran of both Super Rugby and Pro 14, played for the Cheetahs, Sharks, and Kings, now taking over on the line-out duties and the hooker for the Seawolves.
And the ball knocked forward, so scrum for Austin. Well, it looked, Kit McConaughey, like Seattle had the run of play as far as scrum time was concerned. We'll see if Austin can offer a little bit more of a staunch opposition there in the pack.
Fellas, same as the first half.
That's been a weakness this season all year long for Austin, going up against one of the better scrummaging sides in the league.
Crouch.
See what Austin can do in this situation. 79% scrums won, one of the lowest marks in the league.
What was that, mate?
A little bit of a discussion from the AR to
it's hit up.
Referee from Australia.
Yeah.
That is
hit up.
Logan.
Second, here we are.
Crouch. Binds. Set. Just pull back and around.
Well, a couple of things went wrong there in the scrum.
Just step back and pull it around.
The put in, and then Romero gives it a little boot after it squirts out, and then the scrum gets wheeled. So the result, Seattle with a penalty, and Sema going to gobble up a little bit of territory, and a little danger here for Austin. You certainly don't want to start giving up points off the penalty.
Yeah, there is indeed. Austin, that was an issue in the first half.
Stay in the contest, yeah?
Making some penalties that they would really have liked to have not. A big one here early in the second.
So Coetzee, big throw, hotting the target. The drive coming. Coetzee hitches the wagon to the back of this maul. Oh, and he gets forced into touch. Well, that is unfortunate for Seattle. They looked like they had the drive going. It's just that all of the momentum heading towards that touch line.
Yep.
That's a break for Austin.
It is indeed. Give Chris Shea, the loose head prop, a lot of credit there, the Ohio native. He was in on that, as was Abdul Menem. Seattle looking like they were headed for the try line yet again. Now it'll be the line out to Austin.
So Erasmus with the throw. Deep inside their own territory, gets tipped back to Seattle. Danger for Austin. JP Smith gonna dig it out. Hadding looks outside to Kotze. Smith to Sema. Rasaleka runs over one. Then lays it back. Kotze.
Stay there, boys.
Short ball there to Seattle.
Well done, 3.
Numbers to the left and right. Sema goes to Rasaleka. Rasaleka tries to shake out of an Aguirre tackle.
7, no!
Now wide side. Tucker. Going over Echeverria. Nice run by the Christchurch-born flanker. Smith finds Shermer. Shermer lays it back. Barton on the job. Staller there too. Now it's Tucker. Tucker looking at the line, driving his legs. Smith out wide. Sema. Staller finds Burt Combs. He's already scored one.
Roll 7.
Oh, the line by Barton, and it opens up some space for JP Smith. Tiberio playing scrum half. Deschelle trying to find the white line. Now Burt Combs. Ball knocked backwards.
No. Time off. Be very, very careful down in this area doing that.
Stern warning from Logan Rogan.
Austin defense doing a very good job bowing its neck for the time being. Remember, this opportunity all came from the stolen line out. Tucker able to get it away from Austin Erasmus. Not finding his target.
Butch, you want to look at this side for me, mate? Stay straight. Bring him on, set him on. Who we got? Sub, boys. Who we got coming off? Blue number 1.
Yeah, Austin caught up with one of the coaches from Austin right after the break. What do you have to say, Austin?
Number 3 green. 3 green.
Yes, I talked to forwards coach
And 1
Pedro
green.
Wedenberg at the half, and he stressed
Substitution.
multiple times that Austin needs to start this second half like they did the first. He said if the
3
team
and
plays
1.
the rest of the
3
game
and
like
number 1.
they did the first few minutes, there's no doubt
That's
they'll
what I'm
win.
hearing, fellas.
The other thing he mentioned was the scrum, saying there was a few times they didn't
Time's off,
execute
guys.
like he would like, so look for some adjustments in the scrum as well.
Yeah, I spoke with the big former
Have
Springbok,
we got all of
Pedro
those
Vandenberg, and the
subs on,
change
Greg?
coming. The one
Or
for
are we still
Austin,
waiting
Chris
on one?
Shade comes off, and the number 1, he'll give way to Lerome White, former Seattle Seawolf. Now with Austin Elite comes on with the number 17 on his back.
I got told
Appears
3 as
changes
well,
coming for
fellas.
Seattle as well.
Yeah, here
All
comes
good.
Olive Khalifi. And Ali Khalifi saw some action
Mark's gonna be
recently
over
for
there,
the ARC,
Over there.
for the U.S. Eagles.
Just here.
Trying to maybe get him a little bit of rest, but he's going to have to come on and provide some quality moments.
You think about that bench for Seattle, bringing a player, a
Fellas,
USA
new front
Eagle
row,
off the
stability,
bench.
yeah?
The Seattle native Khalifi, wearing number 17, will plug in that front row.
Phil Mack at scrum half for JP Smith as well, maybe adding a little spark. And then Roland Suniula coming in for George Barton as well.
National team members all bringing in Suniula, Mack, and Khalifi. What a trio to come off a bench.
And the scrum and the wheel there, and the penalty goes to Austin. And Hadding standing in goal with the ball saying, wait, I scored. And referee says, not so fast.
And the Seattle captain already has 1 try to his name. Was looking for a second, but will not be the case.
On the 5.
So good outcome for this Austin pack, and they've been looking for something positive, and they finally find a penalty in a crucial area of the field. And these are the kind of moments, Kit, that can turn a game.
Oh, that's exactly right. Austin gave it away. The line out stolen away by Tucker. Now the infraction on the scrum gives Austin possession. They need to put this line out in, find the hands of someone in blue and black.
Erasmus pulling a long shift at hooker there, and back to Romero. Big barnstorming run there by Larson. The Canadian international lays it back for Romero. Room to run for Silva. Suniula makes his first tackle. Romero out to Mitchell, the captain. Now Lerone White getting involved. The dummy from number 6, that is Rika Swart.
Onside. 8's onside.
Big kick. Finds Sema.
Big kick, but not a great chase from Austin. Easily fielded by Sema.
Mack digs it out. Khalifi, instead of running over, throws it over to Rikas.
No.
Check that Riekert heading. Mack looking for some space, looking for the big pass over the top. Couldn't find it. Instead, gets tackled, lays it back. Now it's Coetzee. Out to Suniula. Tucker over the halfway line. A run by Burt Combs into the hands of Tiberio. Good continuity from the Seawolves, but they're pushed into touch once again.
Austin defense doing a great job sending Seattle out into touch. You see the ability for the Seawolves to offload, and there's another instance right there. Tiberio to Burt Coombs. So good going down, able to find a teammate, able to get the accurate pass. Very difficult to do.
So Austin gives up the ball, and then Seattle rumbles a little bit, but pushed into touch. And so now Austin Elite going to have a throw. Erasmus gives some directions to Echeverria. And up and over the top, but the ball not straight when it lands in the hands of Lerone White, so it's going to be another gift to Seattle.
You could tell Big Rome White, the Louisville, Kentucky native, he was not anticipating that ending up with him.
Let's bring the height up, yeah?
Back to the strength, the scrum for the Seawolves. In a dangerous position as well, right at the 22.
Stay down in the contest, don't pull out and around. Last one, stay in the contest, going backwards, yeah? Don't step out and around.
So across the front, it is Coetzee,
Crouch,
Hayden,
fellas. I just asked you to bring the height of it up a little bit, and you go really, really low.
John Hayden, California native, high school All-American, another Central Washington University product.
We got 2. It's dangerous, yeah? He's going all the way down. Come up a little bit.
Scrum coaching going on from the Aussie ref.
Safety, as always, the first and foremost concern. The amount of pressure being applied, it has to be.
Set.
Come on, Big J.
Matt. Well, no clear tunnel for him to feed the ball, and so goes to the back looking for the free kick call from the referee. Doesn't get it. Instead, he's going to re-rack the scrum once again.
Let's go, John Hayden.
Both teams with new additions on the front row, the substitutions.
All right, folks, as they reset.
Seattle maybe not as dominant as they were with the starting front row. We'll see.
Bind. Set. Let's go, Juanito. Let's go.
Hadding.
Ball's out.
Looking at his options, finds Mack. And the ball knocked forward there. Looked like a few things going on there in the back line. The crash line run by Roland Suniula, and a little bit of confusion. And it yields another turnover. Crucial position on the field.
Phil Mack's so good, the scrum half Canadian national team member, 33 years young. I don't think his teammate was anticipating that ball. It hit him right in the hands. The vision of Mack, you see it out here. Heading Mack, and right there, oh, he looks like it was going to be Suniola instead. That one found. Bert Coombs just couldn't hold on.
Yeah, and that's a perfect line. That's what you want. When you're coming from that blind side wing, you want to be able to disrupt the flow of that defensive line coming across, and it would have been a difficult line to stop from Bert Coombs. He's a big body, moving fast with the ball in hand. Could have been a 5-pointer instead of knock on. So breathing room for Austin. They got to win their scrum. Still locked up here. 17 all here in the second half. 15 minutes have gone by. Anybody's game at this point, and they've both shown moments of brilliance, but they've also shown, Kit, a little bit of indecision and some mistakes.
And you're exactly right. And after the fireworks in the first half, it's been a scoreless 15 minutes to start the second. Neither team has really been able to take advantage of miscues from the other.
And look at this, another scrum penalty is going to go to Austin. You could see, I think even Echeverria a little surprised by that, the front rower.
Brian, you said it, miscues, it bears repeating. That's exactly what we've seen in this second half. Neither team playing the way they did in the first 40 minutes.
And the one trend, Kit, that I would want to reverse if I'm Austin Elite is so far this 15 minutes of action in the second half has been played really in the Austin half.
Almost entirely in their end, and it's been deep. It's been at the 22. They've been their backs up against the wall in the shadow of their own goalpost. Maybe a chance here to change field position.
Underneath him. Soon as he hits, 17.
Well, they are in the Seattle half, about 5 meters inside that halfway line. Big throw coming from Erasmus. Finds the target. That is Larson. Oh, and the big wraparound, and that was an absolute train wreck there.
Scrum.
Yeah, crunching tackle on Abdul Menem, just couldn't hold on. One of the new additions to this Austin side. Suniola says, welcome to Austin.
And the short line out here, and this move is designed to go to the number 7 and just read perfectly there by Aladdin Shermer. And Shermer comes up and introduces himself to his opposite number, says, I don't think so.
Shermer, another Evergreen State native out of North Bend, Washington, USA Eagle number 488. Another Central Washington University product. Shermer having none of it. Saw Kyle Breitenbach set to come on for Austin at the next opportunity.
Mack, options on both sides, goes left. A kick laid down for Bert Combs. Instead picked up by Soel Jodat. Tries to flick it back inside, instead knocked on.
First one off.
Thought it was going to be a little bit of an advantage played there, but a first knock on.
Yeah, he did. With the hand in there.
No room for Austin.
4. Number 4.
Yeah, so subs coming on, as you mentioned. I think the first knock, the referee is saying, is from Seattle.
I think that's what I saw. Breitenbach, Kyle Breitenbach, the South African, will come on for Austin. We'll see who he will replace. Breitenbach has been fantastic this season, a real force for Austin all year long.
I'm hearing. Don't change the bond.
There goes Taylor Crumry as well.
Crumry, the former Oregon Duck. A good 58 minutes of work.
Jeremy, let's go.
So the engine room slowly getting replaced piece by piece for each of these teams. Romero with the feed. Nearly 20 minutes gone in the second half. Still scoreless in this 40.
Straight back out the same tunnel, guys. Straight out the same tunnel. 14, sub. Sub.
Another substitution coming for Austin.
Let's go, guys. By the time we set the scrum, we'll be ready.
Looks like Faison Donahoe headed to the bench. He will indeed. He'll give way to one of the new additions to this Austin side. We've said that every week. Aiden McMullen, excuse me, the Canadian, the Quebecois, the young guns making his trip south. Faison Donahoe heads off with a bit of a hitch in his gait.
This kid, Aiden McMullen, looks like he's about 12 years old. He's got a good body on him for a wing. He's tall, 6'2", but
I don't think he has to buy razor blades yet.
I'm telling you.
Very impressive young talent.
It's actually his birthday today. Happy birthday, Aiden McMullen, 23 years old.
23, gets some time here in this match, a full 20 minutes to go. We'll see if he can make an impact.
Romero to Silva. Silva puts a big high ball up on Sema. Sema, plenty of time to come down. We've seen that a little bit tonight.
Yeah, the chase just hasn't been there for Austin. We talk about maybe an advantage in the kicking game, but the kick is one thing. The chase almost more important than the actual kick.
Mack after the run by Tucker, and there is Jeremy Leonards.
Hands away, Blue!
Mack was behind Khalifi. Shell.
Turnover was good, but play on.
Dish from Tucker. Finds Mack. Mack finds an Austin shoulder.
Let it come now.
Leonards. And DeShell playing scrum half. The dish, the one-hander, back to Suniula, into Khalifi.
Big Khalifi,
wide body.
Right into Jerome Whitey. Two Mack trucks meeting head on.
Great inside ball there from Suniula to Tucker, and then gets it back, but just not forward.
Brian, remember, this is the last home game of the season for Austin. They'll be down in San Antonio at beautiful Toyota Field March the 30th. And you know they'll bring a ton of fans with them for that match.
And then this. Yep.
All right, well, we're going to take a short hydration break. We'll be back for the end. Who will claim victory?
I wished I could tell my daughter to go play outside, but every time she coughed or wheezed or suffered, it scared me. And weekly allergy shots were just as scary, scarier for her.
I used to start my day ready to take on the world, but every change in temperature or rain or wind triggered something in my head. Itchy, watery eyes, headaches. I was miserable, no matter what the season. I couldn't breathe. It was like having a cold all the time.
And even if she was okay with weekly allergy shots, who has the time? Between school, work, and family, no one has time to go to the doctor every single week.
A buddy of mine said I had to go to Texan Allergy.
Then we went to Texan Allergy. Drops from Texan Allergy are so easy, so simple. And best of all, they work. Allergy relief that doesn't affect our schedule.
Who could imagine something as simple as drops could change my day-to-day happiness? Texan Allergy put the quality back in my quality time.
Texan Allergy, changing lives one drop at a time.
Well, Kit, 17-17 with 20 minutes left in this match. And before this match, we were talking about Austin, their performance so far this year, what they needed to do in order to take this traveling team from Seattle out on their home soil. It's the Major League Rugby's first champion. They're a good side. Austin's hanging with them. They're going toe-to-toe. What's going to win this match?
Austin needs to figure out how to get back to the side we saw in the first 20 minutes. They had possession. Right now, Seattle doing a good job having the majority of the possession. They're getting the scrums. Those are things to their advantage. They're starving Austin of possession. Austin needs to see more of the ball, but we're tied at 17. All to play for in this one. Remember, Seattle winless on the road this year. Austin looking for their first victory. I have a feeling the final 19 minutes and change of this one are going to be very entertaining.
That first 20 minutes of the first half, it was Austin that deprived Seattle of the ball. They had the control, they had territory, and they just haven't been able to find that pattern.
Haven't been able to play their pattern, haven't been able to find it, just haven't had the possession. They were doing a great job, good passes, going through the phases. We'll see what they have here. And that's a man that you want to see with the ball for Austin, number 12, JP Ayede. He was fantastic in the first 20 minutes.
He was indeed, set up a great try. All right, so Austin, they're going to kick their way out of their own end. Sema, nice catch at the halfway line. A little bit of pressure there from Austin, and Phil Mack. He's going to try to find some green, and it's heading towards the touchline. But Joda, well, tries to kick it into touch. Doesn't get any territory. Kind of a wasted effort there by Sowell Joda.
I see the reaction on the face of the French Moroccan. Joda is not what he was looking for. Austin's fullback needed better from that ball.
So, good territory here for Seattle. Stefanos Kotze. Mitchell with the steal. Hard to throw over the 6'7" Dublin, Ireland native. Sorry, Cork, I should say.
Exactly what Austin needed. Take advantage of the line out. Stole one there, and then right back to Seattle.
But again, a kind of an aimless kick there, Kit, and it goes back to Seattle hands. Now Sema looking over the top, finds his opposite number. Silva needing some help to bring down Sema. Now Mack digs it out. Looking for options back. Inside ball to Bradley Tucker. Drops it, picks it back up. Not held, says the referee.
Keep going back.
Mack to big man, Ali Khalifi. Mack licking his chops, finds Shermer. Shermer trying to get a little bit of support there. It bounces kindly into the hands of Hayden. Now Suniula looking for a little space. Vasileka out to Tiberio.
Let him go.
In comes Mo Abdelmonen, but off his feet.
1, 2, roll away.
That is on Aguirre.
Scott Green rounding out our crew, along with Rich Neuenschwander, the assistant referees for this match. And you mentioned kind of the aimless kicking from Austin. We didn't see that in the first 20 minutes. They were content to possess the ball. Got to think that's to Seattle's favor.
Sometimes, Kit, it's the fatigue factor. You don't want to make those decisions with ball in hand. It's easier to just pump it downfield with your foot. Well, it's not paying dividends for Austin. They need to find a little bit of that extra. The throw. Last one stolen by Ben Mitchell from Austin. We'll see if Coetzee can find pay dirt. He does in the form of Jeremy Leynerts. 5 meters out. There is the South African hooker, and over goes Bradley Tucker. Tucker scores.
Number 8. 8. Be very careful jumping across. Be very careful.
And that's huge right there. Coetzee, a beautiful ball put in right at the 5-yard line. Austin got themselves in a dangerous area, backed up against the try line. Crumbry. No, excuse me, that was indeed, as we said. Here's another look at it. Yeah, Tucker with the try. But you see it right here. Great job. Lehnert's able to take it, goes high. Able to battle in and across for the try, and that's big for Seattle. First points of the second half.
Yeah, good look at Tucker.
You got anything, fellas?
You know, just resource depletion there out on the blind side, and it looked like they need a little help, and sometimes that's communication, and sometimes the things that we're seeing right now from Austin, Kit, a little bit of lack of fitness perhaps.
This is our land.
Yeah, as this one gets late, starting to see hands on knees.
And Stoller needed about another 2 inches. So Seattle 22, Austin 17, 5-point game. Still a lot of question marks. Who will claim this victory?
Yeah, first miss of the night from Stoller off the tee, and that's a break for Austin.
Short ball to Leynerts.
Ball's out.
Max swallowed up by Erasmus, the hooker. There is Aguirre.
I will.
Working hard at the ruck. Khalifi taking his time. Going to bowl over number 17. That's Lerone White.
Use it.
Looks like box kick to come from Mack. Indeed. The chase there. Oh, and well taken by Brock Stoller. Mack across the halfway line. Sima finds Suniula. The wraparound is Rasaleka.
Turnover's good. Turnover's good.
Turnover there by Larson. A great job in the contact area. Now it's Funguia. Trying to find Silva. Silva turns it back inside. Romero now going quickly. Ben Mitchell. Desperate stuff from Austin. Down 5 points. Trying to save face at home. The other Larson. Travis. Good hands there. Zarnecki's checked himself into the game. Dishes it back. And Duchel. Errant pass there.
Helter-skelter from both teams. Neither able to maintain possession for any stretch.
Still playing your advantage.
Echeverria, the tight head prop. Now Romero. Things slowing down a little bit, and he'll box kick it.
Winger, stop!
Referee telling the winger to stop, and Zarnecki was offsides. Referee tried to tell him. And the penalty coming for Seattle. So fast and furious, Kit.
Yeah, fast and furious indeed. You see Zarnecki tried to offload it, ends up right in the hands of Duchel, and then right back to Austin Aguirre there.
We're gonna stop.
So
time off, guys.
Opportunity for both of these teams to catch their breath and get ready for the final 12 minutes.
Sub.
And you got to think here, Kit, that Austin has to withstand this push from Seattle. Down 5 points. They don't want to have a 2-score deficit.
Offside.
Austin making a change as well as Erasmus comes off. Now Brendan Rams comes on. Big Brendan Rams, a former Austin Blacks man. He played club rugby here in the capital city, South African native. But you're exactly right, Brian. If Austin gives up any points in this situation, that may well do it.
An interesting decision there, too, with the foot of Stoller. You'd think 30 meters out from the goalpost that maybe you take a shot there. You put yourself up by 8, make Austin score twice, which they haven't been able to do once.
Yeah, very interesting decision indeed. You would assume they would go for the post, as good as Stoller's been, just the one miss.
Well, they might not need to if they keep driving towards the line there. Oh, it's going to be lost. It was a maul. It goes down. Taken in by Seattle. And you can see the relief on Pedri Wanenberg.
Scrum.
Austin's forwards coach can't even bear to look on. He knows every mistake at this point critical, that may well do it. But Seattle electing not to kick. Then the ball goes down, the penalty. Strange turn for the Seawolves.
Well, I tell you what, you know, if Austin can work their way out of their own in goal, that would be a huge stop.
Crouch.
All right, folks, here.
Pressure coming from Seattle. Romero with the feed. Austin backed up against its own goal line. Trouble. Well taken from the back. That's Travis Larson.
Green, stay.
The wall formed. Mitchell trying to find some breathing room for the Elite. They're about a meter outside the line. Big kick. Romero. Pressure on Stoller from Zarnecki. And Sima finds some grass to run into. Open pastures. Austin Elite's defense reforms. Mack out to Khalifi. Tackled by Lerone White. Stoller looking for a gap. Finds Larson. Larson driving. 10 meters out.
7, no! 7 away! Away, 7.
Nakai Penny in for the Seawolves. Adds a little run forward. Riekert Hadding looking for an offload to Hayden. Instead lays it back. Khalifi, big collision there with Abdelmonen. Tucker
keep going, move.
Turns, places. Another phase for the Seawolves. Suniula finds Rasaleka.
Play on.
4 meters out. Penalty advantage being played. Oh, and he's going for his
Not
card.
rolling quick enough. Cynical offense. Yellow card.
And that is on Mo Abdelmonen.
Abdelmonen not rolling away. You heard him. Technical offense there. But what an offload. Roland Suniula right to Rasaleka.
And again, Kit.
Yeah.
Easy points up front. Would stretch the lead to 8. And instead they're going for the scrum.
We know what happened the last time. They turned it over. There was an opportunity. They could have made it an 8-point lead. Instead, they turned it to Austin. And again, they're going to go to the scrum instead of taking what you would assure off the boot of Stoller would be a sure 3 points.
White, Rams, and Echeverria across the front for Austin Elite. Need the scrum of their life here.
Set.
Hold the weight. The legs. Come on, boys.
Lots of forces and physics at work here, Kit. And the scrum goes down. The referee opts to reset it.
Let's go.
Yeah, literally thousands of pounds of pressure being applied.
Eric, pull it.
Guys, go back for it. Mark's up here.
Yeah. We want it up. We want it up. Keep him up.
Hayden Coetzee and Khalifi across the front for the Seattle scrum. Nakai Penny has checked in. At the back is Riekert Hadding on the side. You see the hair there of Eric Duchel. Seattle thinks they have the advantage in the scrum. And they do, driving forward. Hadding.
Advantage, Green.
Advantage being played by the referee. Little space for Phil Mack. Squirts through, trying to find the line. Oh, knocked on there by Leonards, but it won't matter.
Number 3.
Advantage being played to Seattle. Leonard's unable to hold on. What a job there from Mack, the Canadian international. Just able to slip under the would-be tackle. Shows not only his power, but his elusiveness as well.
Phil Mack, the old man. Mack's a great story. From the Toquat First Nations up in British Columbia, has created a pathway for Indigenous Canadians to play rugby. Started a few years ago with 20 participants, Kit. Now it's a full-on league. There are Indigenous teams that can play one another, and he's starting one in Seattle, Washington as well. It's an amazing way that he's given back to the sport and to the Aboriginal people of Canada.
Indeed, hats off to Phil Mack. Great story there.
Good scrum there. Hadding looking for the line again, and he's over. Hadding breaks the hearts of the home crowd.
Riekert Hadding, his second try of the match. Pretoria native, former Blue Bull, with a huge dagger with just 4 minutes remaining in this one. You and I, skeptical. There was the opportunity for Seattle twice to go for the post, but they knew what they were doing. They held on, and now a chance to extend their lead to 12 if they can make the conversion.
Well, they certainly kept the pressure on. And now the foot of Stoller to stretch things to 12 points. And he does. So 29-17 in favor of the Seawolves. The Seawolves, if they win tonight, they're going to get 4 points.
That's good.
Now you take another look at it here. Mack doing a great job, just calling things out. Hadding knew exactly where it was, continues to follow that scrum forward. And then just able to dive across. No chance for Austin to stop him.
Still some time left for Austin to respond, but every move has to be clinical from them. Romero finds Mitchell. Mitchell on a great line. Knock on there by Austin.
And it's been lost forward first.
Austin, a fantastic match last week on the road up in the Rocky Mountains. Ultimately came up just a bit short at Glendale. Things starting to click for this Austin side, and hard for the fans considering this is the last home match of the season. Again, they have one more here. They'll be down in San Antonio on March the 30th there at Toyota Stadium, taking on Rugby United New York, but the last here at Dell Diamond. Fans have been treated to a fantastic exhibition this evening.
They're still down one, yeah? Second. Use your head. Control, boys, if we're going, we go. Let's go to control.
Crouch.
So Seattle, 12 points. Mack with the feed. Mack going to get it back, trying to find Crowder.
Keep going.
Suniula to Rasaleka. Tiberio trying to find some space. Burt Combs.
Turnover was good.
Austin steals it.
You're off your feet.
Penalty against Will Rasalega, being off his feet. Can you score 2 tries in a minute in a 15s match, Kit McConico?
We're about to find out. Austin will do everything they can to make that happen. They certainly have the talent to do it. They have the players. For Austin, a fantastic start, a dream start, as you said, in the first 20 minutes. And a lot of that was because of their inside center, JP Aguirre, the Argentine. He hasn't seen very much of the ball, hasn't been able to really be an impact in this second half.
Give credit to the Seattle defense, and they really took that platform that Austin had in the first 20 minutes, and they just took it right away from them. Austin with the ball, somehow manages to win their line out. Silva looking to do something quickly through Sione Fangawea. Zarnecki goes in to help. Romero, last-ditch effort for the Austin Elite. Silva gets hit by Suniula.
Yeah. Step back.
Romero back inside to Mitchell.
No, they're too close. Too close.
So an injury on the field that's obstructing the play.
We will have a scrum, fellas. We will have a scrum.
So you heard the referee say we will have a scrum.
We will have a scrum. I've stopped it because it's too close. Yeah.
Aguirre being attended to by the staff. A lot of bright spots in this one for Austin, but ultimately the defending champions, as you so correctly said, Brian, they made the adjustments, and give them credit. It was tied 17-all at the break. Seattle was down 14-0 early. They made the adjustments. What gave Austin that advantage early, what made Austin successful, Seattle was able to take away in the second half. And Austin, see by the scoreline, no points after scoring 17 in the second half, unable to put one on here in the final 40 minutes.
Okay.
So Aguirre back up, ready for action, and there will be a scrum, as the referee had announced before he blew the whistle. And even though there's 80 minutes have ticked off from the scoreboard, it's one more scrum for the Austin Elite. They'll have options both ways. Center field here. The Elite back line is lined up to their right.
Big one, big one.
Crouch. Binds. Set.
Mero with the feed. He goes to where the back line is. Fangawea. Been quiet tonight, Fangawea. Hasn't had a whole lot of ball.
Keep going. Yep.
Mitchell still grinding. Romero out the back to Aguirre. Soel Joda. Suniola in to try to make the turnover. Instead, dumped back to the feet of Romero. Austin trying to give their fans something to cheer about at the very end here. Their last moments at Dell Diamond for the year.
Roll!
Romero digs it out. White back to Silva. Pongawea to Aguirre. Zarnecki on the corner. Steps back inside. Oh, great tackle coming in from Nakai Penny. Silva trying to figure out a way to break the Seawall defense.
Let him go.
Joda.
Let him go.
Mitchell.
Stay there.
A lot of bodies walking out there, and the ball finally goes to ground.
Been ripped out by Green. It's gone forward.
That'll do it. Seattle crushing the hopes of the Austin Elite. 29-17 is the final.
Another good performance from Austin. Ultimately, just too much from the defending champions at the end. They made the adjustments. Austin could not. And Seattle comes up with the victory, their first of the season on the road.
We'll be back to wrap things up here at the Dell Diamond.
I wished I could tell my daughter to go play outside, but every time she coughed or wheezed or suffered, it scared me. And weekly allergy shots were just as scary, scarier for her.
I used to start my day ready to take on the world, but every change in temperature or rain or wind triggered something in my head. Itchy, watery eyes, headaches. I was miserable, no matter what the season. I couldn't breathe. It was like having a cold all the time.
And even if she was okay with weekly allergy shots, who has the time? Between school, work, and family, no one has time to go to the doctor every single week.
A buddy of mine said I had to go to Texan Allergy.
Then we went to Texan Allergy. Drops from Texan Allergy are so easy, so simple. And best of all, they work. Allergy relief that doesn't affect our schedule.
Who could imagine something as simple as drops could change my day-to-day happiness? Texan Allergy put the quality back in my quality time.
Texan Allergy, changing lives one drop at a time.
Season 2 of Major League Rugby is up and running. 9 teams from across the U.S. and Canada battle it out every week for the right to hoist the MLR Shield.
One for the line. Look at this guy going over.
The crowd has gone wild. The intensity, the drama, the buzz. You've got to love it. This is Rugby America. Get involved. Get behind it. It's here to stay.
Welcome back to Round Rock. 29-17 the final as the home team upset by Seattle Seawolves. And down on the field with the man of the match of this game is Austin Ivan.
Yes, I am with the man of the match who had 2 tries on the night. What was working so well for you offensively?
First of all, I just want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ who gave me the talent and health to play this wonderful game. I think second to that, I think we had a good platform in the scrums, and that's obviously why I capitalised. So we had a good platform in the scrum and a good platform in our drives, and that's where we can get our points off.
Austin had 2 quick tries in the game, and then you stopped them and didn't allow them another try the rest of the game. What defensive adjustments did you make?
No, we had a little bit of a chat, and after halftime we said they're going to come. They got nothing to lose. They're going to come full force. If we're going to give them an opportunity to attack, they are going to attack and they are going to play, and that's what they did. And I think after that we had a good chat with the boys, saying they are going to attack. We need to step it up a bit. We need to get off the line and make our first-time tackles, and I think that helped us keep them out of the try line the second half.
Your first road game of the season. Next week you get to go back home to Seattle, where you're undefeated. You haven't lost a game all season. What makes it so much easier getting to play at home?
I mean, I think it speaks for itself. If you watch the games, we got a sold-out crowd every single game. They get behind us. We start with 10 points up every single game with the awesome crowd we have back home.
Safe travels back home. Congratulations on the game today.
Thank you very much. Have a good weekend.
Brian, back to you.
All right, thanks, Austin. Well, Kit, next week against NOLA Gold, things just seems to get tougher for Austin Elite. What's the silver lining?
Well, for Austin, there's lots to build upon. They had a tough loss last week at Glendale. They showed some sparks, showed more tonight. But as you said, it's going to be difficult taking on the team atop the standings next week on the road in New Orleans.
Seattle has a week off next week, and they'll rest their knocks and pings. Well, a good one. And finally, it's Seattle, decisive in their victory over Austin. For Kit McConico and all of our crew here at the Dell Diamond, I'm Brian Hightower. Thanks for joining us. Stick around for more MLR down the road.